All right. All week we talked about operating to our standard, and there's still some moments that we'll want back from that game. But overall, I thought our players really attacked that, and regardless of what time it was in the game, who was on the field, like these guys went and attacked, which is great. We talked about strength in numbers, and we had that tonight as well. We're going to open it up.
Ready to reduce? They have both 12.5 yards. Yeah, that's a 3 yards play. That's that. And has to be about the highest in college football history. Were you expecting anything like that coming in?
I was expecting our players to play with an edge. I was expecting them to execute and do their job at a really high level. I thought, the things that we were asking our guys to do, that they were able to do, and they did that tonight.
Right here in the middle, Alec.
Yeah, how would you assess Dante's play and just how he approached this game and then played it?
Well, one, he was out there playing with joy. You see a smile on his face, and there's still going to be some moments that he's going to want back, right? Some opportunities that we missed and some things that we can improve. But overall, I thought he executed the plan that we asked him to execute at a high level.
Alec, you get
what was working in the run game for you guys? Just a bunch of explosive plays there for everybody.
Yeah, we wanted to establish the run, and we felt like we could move bodies up front and run through some arm tackles, and we did that tonight.
Right here on the second arm.
John Olive, undrafted U.S. This is your first time in New Jersey and on the East Coast. What was your overall thought of the experience, the energy, the weather, and how did, more importantly, you think your team responded?
It was a beautiful night for football, right? It was perfect weather for football. Everyone here has been, very hospitable. It's been a good experience. I came here once before as a GA and we didn't win, so it's nice to come back and be able to get a W.
You can go out. What Brandon Finney gets tested a lot. I think people think he's a freshman. They think they can test him on the deep balls. They did a couple times today, and he's held up without committing.
Did he give up the catch?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but hasn't avoided penalties too. Which is for freshmen. What makes him able to do that?
Just calm and poised within a play, right? It's hard to go battle for a 50-50 ball and put yourself in a situation that you're going to create a penalty, and he's done a good job of that.
Red James, we talked about defensive havoc during the week. You guys obviously caused a lot of it at all three levels. How did you feel about the amount of havoc you were able to cause defensively?
Yeah, overall that's going to lead to success when you can create turnovers, and we had some too. So we got to make sure that we improve that. But we challenged our guys to be able to create some. We had and those showed up. We said all week and really today we're not chasing stats, we're chasing a standard. And I thought our guys did a good job of that.
Back middle.
Well, let's go Ducks chance tonight. How do you react to that many fans making the cross country?
Man, how awesome are our fans, right? That was unbelievable. That's why I wanted to make sure I did gave some high fives there at the end, because for them to come all the way across, literally all the way across the nation to be here and support us. I'm sure there's some fans that are, from the East Coast that were able to make it here today. That was unbelievable to experience that in an away stadium.
Same middle. Back good.
I want just your thoughts. Is Rutgers one of those teams where maybe they're better than what their record represents? And, the mindset going into this game, and how do you think they respond as well?
Yeah, I think Rutgers is an extremely well-coached team. I think there's a lot of things that their team does that's really challenging, and we had to win some battles to have success tonight. And, we were able to do that. We were able to win some one-on-ones, but they put you in a lot of tough situations in all phases. They make it hard on you, and I thought they had some good answers, too, for some things that we did. We were just able to out-execute tonight.
Games, 13 runs of over 10 yards, 3 backs over 10 yards per carry. And if you throw in Dante, 4 players over 10 yards per carry. What was working so well in the run game tonight?
Guys staying connected. Once runs broke was big, and then movement on the line, and then several of our run plays had multiple options, right, where the ball could go to a couple different spots based on where they were heavy or tilted, and I thought our guys did a good job with that.
Gates. A couple of one major adjustment on the O-line, moving Harkey inside and Trenoris. Just from what you could see, field level, how do you feel like, with that being obviously part of the plan, how it looked?
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch the film yet, so I'm anxious to be able to look at that. But we always want to work with different multiples to make sure that we're prepared for different situations.
Second
the type of momentum you guys are building, this is kind of getting the midway of the season, kind of, this type of win, leading back into the regular schedule, regular business, what type of momentum does this build moving forward?
Yeah, in football, rinse do every week. So it's great as this win was to see us accomplish, to our standard what we wanted to be able to do. We got to come to work next week again, and it's never going to be easy. So it's really not about what you've done, for me lately. It's about right now, and we have to come back and go to work, travel back. We'll get back probably a little after 3. a.m. and be back at work ready to roll on Sunday.
Ace. We saw Kenyon obviously come out of the locker room a little late second half, but obviously came off the field. I was okay. Just is he all right?
Yeah, probably just more precautionary on our side.
Anything else?
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.